back with another one. So just when I'm chilling by myself, bored on Instagram, I see this. And of course, my first thought is, ooh, let's go. Challenge accepted. So if you're new around here, let me explain really quick what I do. I take YouTube day trading gurus, I take their strategies or even full-on courses, I code them into day trading bots, I backtest them with software, I forward test them on demo accounts or prop firm challenges to see if they're actually teaching something valuable or if it's just marketing hype. This is a name you might be very familiar with. His name is Casper SMC. He has a pretty large following on YouTube, and I am more than happy to check out this new video from him and see if it holds up or not. With that said, let's jump into the video. Let's take a look at what he's teaching. And we're back. Okay, so the name of this video is the 5-minute scalping strategy in parentheses that actually works. I'll be the judge of that. But I'm gonna watch this video. I'm gonna learn what he's about to say, and then we will code it up. All right, so if you want to watch this video as well, link is in the description. And let's go. And we're back. Okay, so let me explain this strategy to you and then we'll get into coding it. So there's just a few rules. And it's actually very similar to the Scarface one that we looked at. If you didn't see that video, you can click right there or here, but I think it's right here. I don't know if it'll be mirrored, the camera. I don't know. Anyways, I think it's right there. It's very similar. A little different, but very similar. All right, so firstly, we're gonna stick to the 5-minute time frame for this strategy. No other time frames needed. We're gonna take the candle that forms between 9:30 a.m. and 9:35 a.m. New York time, and we're gonna mark off the high, and we're gonna mark off the low, and that's gonna be our range. The second part of the strategy is, then we wait for a 5-minute close above that range or below that range. Rule 3, we wait for a rejection off of that range. When that rejection happens, we enter. Rule 4, we take the midpoint of the 5-minute range that we created. That will be our stop loss. We aim for a 1 to 2. Easy breezy. Okay, this one's super easy, and honestly, a lot of the code is very similar to what I already did for Scarface, so this will not take very long, but let's get into it. Let's rock and roll. All right, so we are now on the chart. So let's try this out on the NASDAQ. He said it works on stocks, it works on crypto, it works on Forex, it works on metals, it works on everything. You can just make money left and right on everything with this one. All right, so let's test it on NASDAQ, and then I'm gonna test it on a few more things and see if it does better or worse or whatever. All right, so we're gonna be testing this on the NASDAQ on the 5-minute time frame from January 1st all the way to December 31st of 2025. So we got a whole year's worth of backtest. Like I had mentioned in my last video, you want at least 100 trades so you can be somewhat sure that the backtests are valid. If it's less than 100 trades, then you don't know if the strategy is actually working. So 20 trades, as he backtested in his video, is definitely not enough. Anything can happen in 20 trades. 100 trades, that's a good enough sample size for you to actually kind of have some sort of faith in the system. And obviously, the more the merrier, the better, but at least 100. At least 100. I don't care if you're doing this by hand or you're using software like I'm about to backtest it. Try to get at least 100 to have some sort of faith in that result. All right, then for the delay, we're gonna do 100 milliseconds. Why? Because no execution is perfect. We're gonna go with every tick. It's a 100K account, 1 to 500 leverage. We are using Vantage because they have a 100% history quality, which matters for backtesting. I got the DST built into the EA as well, which means if you're unfamiliar, daylight savings time is a thing. And if your strategy depends on the time of the day being right, well, when that adjustment happens, you still want to be entering at the right time, right? So that's built in as well. So there's going to be no accidental whoopsie with it going too early or too late. So yeah, let's take a look what the actual EA looks like on the chart. All right, we're back. We're on the chart. Let's do it. Okay, so we are in visualization mode right now. And what that is, if you don't know, this is part of the backtest on MetaTrader 5, where you can see your EA, your auto bot trader, your Decepticon trader, no, your where you can see your automated trades actually visually, and you can make sure everything's working properly, and then you can do all that fun stuff. All right, so what we're gonna be doing is look down here, 100K. That's what we're gonna be trading. All right. let me show you what this thing actually looks like in action. All right, so this thing takes trades starting at, well, 9:30 a.m., right? That's the rule. 9:30 to 9:35 is that candle that we want. So I'm gonna let it do its thing and get to New York session. All right, wow, I hit it right on the head. All right, so we got the high, we got the low of the first 5-minute candle of New York session. Then we have the midpoint, which is the where the stop loss will go, based on what he said. All right, so now what we're looking for is a close above or a close below, and then a retest of that same range so we can enter. Let's see if we get that. Let's see if we get it. All right, so we closed above, and then, okay, technically here, this was the retest. If this closes outside of this range, that should be a trade, and it is. All right, you can see the stop loss is placed right here at the midpoint. And we got a 2-to-1 ratio, risk to reward ratio, I cannot talk today. Risk to reward ratio. Let's see if it's a winner. Nope. All right, but that doesn't mean that others won't, right? Losses happen. This is trading. All right, so we are in the business of losing. We are in the business of managing risk. All right, so that's the trade for today. One trade a day. All right, so I'm just going to speed this up, and yeah, let's see what the rest of the year turns out like. All right, so we ended the year at $83,669. That's not good. That means we lost about $17,000 from the account. That's not good. So the strategy as is does not really seem to work. Now, here is one of the things I want to bring up because he did not specify this. He said a rejection of the high or the low, right? So we could say, for example, we close above the range, and now we have a rejection that happens, right? But he didn't specify if that candle still needs to go in the right direction, meaning if we close above, does the rejection candle need to close bullish, right? Or if it closes below, does the rejection candle need to close bearish? Well, I had questions, so what did I do? I did what I know how to do, and I coded in that we only take trades if the rejection candle is in the right direction of the trade. Like I just said, if we close below, we're looking for a bearish rejection, and if we close above, looking for a bullish rejection. All right, let's see if that works. All right, so we're going to run that one more time on the NASDAQ, but this time with the extra filter that I added in. And let's see if this makes it any better. I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Let's see it in action first to make sure that this is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then we'll let it just go hard on this chart. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we got the 5-minute right here, 5-minute range. Then we got the close above, and then we got the rejection right here, and a very strong bullish candle, and it still lost. Okay, this might have been the same trade from earlier. Well, it was a loss, but at least we know that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So now, let's go through the entire year and see what the results are. Okay, so I think it did a little bit worse, actually. Last time it had an extra $600. This time it's even less than that. All right, so we know when trading this strategy, just take any rejection, even if it closes opposite of your direction, because you would have had an extra $600 in the account. This one closed at $83,020. So yeah. Wow. All right, that was unexpected. I thought it's going to do a little bit better with that extra filter added, but I guess it doesn't. Okay, and then I had one more suggestion that he did not answer. I'm like, well, what if it's a weak rejection close, right? So I added in another filter, and this filter only counts the rejection if the body size of the candle, the rejection candle, is of a certain size. And that, yeah, let's test that out. Alright, so what you're looking at right now is the optimization screen of the EA on MetaTrader 5. This is one of my absolute favorite things about being able to code strategies, because here I can take every single setting that I put into the EA and I can try all types of different settings, and the computer will find the best exact values for each setting that's going to give me the best results. Meaning, if I want to test how does a 2R reward work, versus a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8R reward, it's going to test all that for me. I don't have to do it manually. It's so cool. All right, so as you can see, the rejection candle filter that I added in, retest candle must match breakout direction. Okay, that was set to true for the last test, as said. So we're going to turn this on, which means it's going to try it without it, and it's going to try it with it. Next, we're going to enter enable minimum body size filter. So it's going to try it without it, and it's going to try it with it. And then we're going to do the retest candle body size in pips. Well, let's take it from, I don't care, to go from 1 in steps of 10, which means every time, well, you know what? Let's try 0 actually. That means there is no actual filter, right? It just takes any rejection. Let's do it in steps of 10, which means 10 pips, 20 pips, 30 pips, 40 pips. Which would be the minimum body size, all the way up to, say, 250 pips, which would be a pretty big-ass candle, honestly. So, let's try that out. And once I hit the start button, it's going to give me, watch this shit, watch this. Go to optimization results, give it a minute. It's going to give me every single combination of those 3 settings and what the result would be over the 1-year backtest we've been doing. Meaning it's still going to test January 2025 all the way to the end of 2025, December. But it's going to try those different settings and see what the best result will be. So let's see. Well, so far, that's not so hot. All right, so we have 104. Let me put myself out the way here because I don't think you can see this bottom part, which is really cool. Woo! All right, so we got 104 different combinations. 104 that settings-wise could work, right? So let's see what the best results are. So right now, oh, there's one profitable one. This setting would have got you $213 over the whole year. $213. I don't know. I don't want to trade a whole year to make $213. Especially the 13% drawdown's not bad. Would have taken 175 trades. Well, all right. Let this thing wrap up, and we will get back to it and see what the absolute best result actually is. We have entered the chat. All right, so let's see. From the 104 combinations that we would have gotten from those 3 settings being played with. Okay. All right, so the best profit we would have made was $5,121 over 184 trades with a 12% drawdown on the account. All right, I mean, again, I don't know about you, but if I'm trading a $100,000 account, I'm hoping to make more than $5,000 at the end of the year. But hey, that's just me. So yeah, that was on the NASDAQ. Again, we could run this for any other thing as well, any other asset as well. Let's try it on the S&P 500. Same exact thing we just did with all the settings, all the optimizations, all that fun stuff. All right, well, look at that. All right, so the S&P 500 actually did a lot better. This result did $32,000 within the year. I'm surprised. Color me surprised. I'm surprised. With only 10% drawdown. Hey, that's not bad. That's 32% on the account. Let's see what the equity curve looks like on this bad boy. So what I can do now is I can hit run single test. Oh, you can't see that on the screen. That's so weird. I right-clicked it and I have like another. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna right-click this setting, and there's a thing called run single test. It's right here. You can't see it because of the screen capture and the way it works. Anyways, what that does, it will use the exact combination of settings, and we can see on a graph what this. Look at that. That's not bad. That's not bad. I guess the 10% loss would have been, yeah, no. Huh? Where would that have happened? It's interesting. Okay. Well, there you go. The equity curve ain't too bad on this one. Look at that. All right. All right. Let's, he said different indexes, right? He said NASDAQ, he said S&P. He said you can run this on anything. Well, let's try a few more things. This is fun. All right, let's try the same optimization, but let's try it on... Ooh, okay. Well, we already did 2 indices, so... Ooh, okay. Let's try it on gold. Let's try it on gold dollar. Let's do it. Let's go. And the results for gold are in. All right, so, well, the top result is $15,000 made with 67 trades taken over the year and a 6.42% drawdown on the account. Hey, that's not bad. Again, if this was a 100K challenge, say an FTMO challenge, and you had to make 10K and then you had to make 5K, well, you would have passed, but it would have taken a whole year. But if this was like your own account, you know, you would have made 15K in that year. That's not bad, you know, 15%. And obviously, remind you, I'm risking 1% of the account for all of this. This is 1% risk. If I didn't already say that, it's 1% risk per trade. So obviously, say you were cool with more drawdown, you could say go 3% risk, and then this would be, you know, times 3. So that's how the math works out. With that said, also the drawdown would be 3 times bigger, you know, if you went 3% per trade. But you get the point. So let's do one more. We did metals, we did indices. Ooh, let's do Forex, or let's do crypto. I don't know. Nah, I don't know. Let's do... Alright, let's do... I feel like Forex is probably a bit more popular to trade. That, I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. I'm going with Euro USD. I'm going with trusty old Euro USD. Can't go wrong with that. Last one, last optimization. We can all take a look at the rules here one last time before we go into this, and let's see what happens once I hit that start button. All right, let's get it going. All right, we are back. $2,000 top. So with these settings, with the minimum body of 20 pips, we actually only got 8 setups the whole year. Only 8 trades, $2,000. You know, yeah, okay. So what have we got from this? Because I could be doing this all day, so we're not going to be doing that. We did the NASDAQ, we did the S&P 500, we did Euro USD, and we did gold. So yes, it works really well on S&P 500, and again, that was 1% per trade. If you were done 2%, you would have made 62K, right? I think it did 32. They did 30. Yeah, okay, so you would have made 64K. I don't remember. You can go back and check how much you actually made. So yeah, and this is why I love building bots so much, because you can tweak the settings to match whatever asset you want to trade and see if it even works, because maybe it works really well on one asset and you didn't even think about trading that asset, but it works, you know, not so well on one that you usually trade, but you think the strategy is going to work on what you usually trade. I love this so much. So what did we learn? I don't know. Let's figure it out. So what did we learn today? All right, so first things first, we learned that the strategy can work, specifically on the S&P 500 with the extra settings that we added. I wish you would have clarified if the rejection candle, if we're, you know, closing above range, needs to be bullish, if we're closing below range, needs to be bearish. You know, he did say, if I do remember correctly, I think he said something about the rejection candle needing, you know, needing to be very convincing, I believe he said. That's why the setting up in there to require a minimum body size makes sense. However, all right, so on a lot of things this does not work, and on other things it does work. So what's the verdict here? All right, if you're trading this thing manually, I think you're gonna get kicked in the hoo-ha, and here's why. You, as a day trader manually sitting on the computer, are just gonna do exactly what he explained, right? We're just gonna mark off the high and the low. We're gonna do the midpoint for the stop loss. We're gonna do the close above or below, and we're gonna do the rejection candle. But as you saw, what actually made a difference was knowing how big that rejection candle is, and that's something that you, with your eyes, I guess you can kind of guesstimate but the computer is going to know exactly how big that candle is and, you know, take that trade or not. I had a lot of fun coding this thing, and I can't wait for the next one. I'm thinking about giving this one away for free, so if you want it, drop a comment down below and I can maybe figure out a way to give this one away. You know, it didn't take too long to code for me, and yeah, maybe some of you guys out there can make some money with this thing. So let me know if you want it, and I might be giving this thing away. With that said, if you have any day traders in mind whose strategy you want me to code and see if this stuff works or not, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Don't forget to watch my last video where I turned Scarface's strategies into a whole beast of an automated system. If you want to buy that Scarface automated system or join the Signal group for it, hit that link below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.